Tune in, drop out. Wise up. Nigel Olson asked, do you think there are really any therapeutic uses for psychedelic drugs? Indulge me in a thought experiment. For a moment, think of your mind as a theater production, and you're in the audience, and all the drama and all the spectacle that you're seeing on stage, that's your conscious experience. That's what you experience going through life. But even as you're caught up in all the drama with the actors and everything that's going on the stage, you know that behind the curtain there's a whole crew of people, far more than you're looking at on the stage, that are making the whole thing happen. They're pulling ropes, they're sliding in sets, they're putting on makeup, they're doing pyrotechnics, cueing music, changing the lighting, all these little things that make the experience of the play possible. Your mind works about the same way. You know, only about 20% of what's going on in your brain is your conscious experience. The other 80% is your subconscious. It's organizing memories, it's, coordinating movements, pulling in sensory information. It's making the experience of your consciousness possible. And just like you, sitting there watching a play and having absolutely no idea what all the crew backstage are doing to make the whole thing possible, you have absolutely no awareness of all the heavy lifting that your subconscious is doing. Taking psychedelic drugs is kind of like if the backdrop peeled away in one spot and gives you just a tiny glimpse of what's going on backstage. It isn't always easy to figure out because you're only seeing through a tiny little gap, and sometimes it leaves you with more questions than answers. But sometimes you can see just enough, maybe it's a makeup person applying a wig or a crew person sliding in a piece of the stage, that gives you a new understanding of this experience that you're having. Now, psychedelic drugs are currently considered a Schedule I drug, which means that they have no medical benefit whatsoever. Of course, because they're Schedule I, there are severe restrictions on any kind of testing on them, which makes the whole thing a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. So how do you know these drugs have no benefit? Well, there are no studies that say they do. Oh, and have you done any studies? No. Luckily, some studies are being done that are showing some extensive benefits to psychedelic drugs. A recent study in the Journal of Psychopharmacology took some veterans suffering from PTSD and treated them with MDMA, which is the active component in ecstasy, and combined that with traditional therapy. And the results are pretty amazing. 83% of people in the study reached a point to where they would no longer be classified as having PTSD. They were basically cured of the condition. People with PTSD generally have an enlarged and overactive amygdala, which is the fear center of the brain. And several of the participants said that taking MDMA helped them to push past all the fear that normally consumed their brain and allowed them to get a better perspective on the traumatic events that led to them having PTSD in the first place. It essentially pulled back the curtain and allowed them to see what was really haunting them. Since the beginning of the war in Afghanistan, more soldiers have died from suicide than on the battlefield. That's insane. And this illegal drug actually holds the potential to help thousands of people. Think of the thousands of lives that could be saved through the use of this drug, not to mention the domino effect that those suicides have on friends and family and children and so on. Other drugs like ayahuasca and iboga have been used by tribal cultures for centuries as a way for people to work through their problems and to find a spiritual path in their life. In fact, most ancient cultures had traditions of taking some kind of herbal remedy that creates altered states, usually in the form of shamanisms or oracles that communicate with the spirit world or gods, but in many cases, regular people took them too. Some even go as far as to say that some of these psychoactive plants were put here for a reason. Cannabis, for example, works by binding to cannabinoid receptors in our brains that don't seem to serve any other purpose other than to bind to this molecule that comes from this plant. I'm not an expert, I could be wrong about that. Now, of course, I'm not advocating everybody running out and taking mushrooms and LSD and turning their entire lives into a Google deep dream state or anything like that. But with carefully controlled doses and combined with traditional therapy, yeah, I think that psychoactive drugs have a very important role to play in people's lives and in their mental health. So let's shed the stigma already. Now, all this is just my opinion, of course, so I want to hear from you. Have any of you guys taken any kind of psychoactive drugs in an attempt to heal any kind of emotional scars, and how did that work out for you? I'll put links in the description of some of the stuff that I was talking about in this video. It's some interesting stuff, so you should definitely check it out. Thanks everyone for watching. If this is your first time here, you can check out some of these other videos on a variety of topics. Just pick which one you like. Hit the like button if you liked it, and that'll help Google get me out there to more people. And if you haven't subscribed, I really hope you do. Just hit the subscribe button up above. I come back every Monday with cool, thought-provoking videos that give you an interesting perspective on the world and help you to look more interesting around your friends in the water cooler at work. You can follow me at all my social media places below, and if you have a question you want answered, you can ask me there or in the comment section of this video, and we could be smarter together. Alright everyone, thanks again for watching. Go out there and have a great week. Love you guys. Take care.